There is a strange contradiction sitting in the sky today, and if you are a Sagittarius, you are standing right in the middle of it. One planet is asking you to slow down and face something uncomfortable that has been building for years. Another is opening a door so easy, so warm, so socially inviting that you might walk right past the first message without noticing it. Most horoscopes today will only tell you about the easy door. Almost none of them will tell you why the harder message matters more. By the end of this, you will understand both, and more importantly, you will understand how they're actually the same story told from two different rooms of your life. The bigger picture. Let us start with the heavier current, because it deserves respect before anything else. Saturn is moving through Aries, and for you, this transit has been quietly reshaping your closest personal bonds since it began, running all the way into early 2028. In Western tropical astrology, this placement lands in the zone of romance, intimacy, children, and the rawest parts of partnership. Saturn does not visit these areas to punish you. It visits to test what is real. Dating patterns get audited. The physical and emotional honesty inside a marriage gets audited. Questions around children, whether that means parenting a teenager, navigating an adult daughter's independence, or walking a longer road like adoption or IVF, all get audited too. Saturn is often called the taskmaster, but a better image might be a farmer. Farming is not glamorous. It is early mornings, patience, and years before the harvest shows itself. That is what this cycle asks of you. Now here is where the sky pulls in the opposite direction. Venus has just moved into Libra, lighting up your 11th house, the zone of friendships, communities, and shared goals. This is a very different kind of energy. Where Saturn asks you to slow down and get serious, Venus in Libra makes your social world feel lighter, easier, more mutually generous. Group plans that normally take weeks to organize may suddenly click into place with surprisingly little friction. This lasts until around September the 10th, so you have roughly 5 weeks where connection feels less like effort and more like flow. Here is the detail most people scrolling through today's horoscopes will miss entirely. These two transits are not unrelated. The inner audit Saturn is running on your closest one-on-one bonds is happening at the exact same time. Venus is making your wider social circle feel unusually rewarding. That is not a coincidence worth ignoring. While the deep, private relationship work stays hard and unglamorous behind closed doors, the public, communal side of your life is offering you warmth, encouragement, and reminders that connection can still feel good. 2 different rooms, 1 shared season. Love. So what does this actually look like when you wake up tomorrow? If you are in a long-term relationship, the physical and emotional honesty between you and your partner may be under quiet scrutiny right now. That is not necessarily a bad sign. Saturn does not usually break what is genuinely solid, it just refuses to reward what is built on convenience or avoidance. If something in the bedroom or in your emotional availability has felt stagnant, this cycle is unlikely to let that slide much longer. Many people navigating this transit report that honest, sometimes uncomfortable conversations end up saving the relationship rather than ending it. Meanwhile, out in your friend groups and communities, something entirely different is unfolding. You may notice a friendship taking on a flirtier edge, or a new romantic possibility arriving not through a dating app, but through your wider circle, a mutual friend, a shared project, an online exchange that turns unexpectedly personal. The energy favors chemistry born from conversation, rather than surface attraction. If you have been feeling pulled towards someone who challenges you intellectually rather than someone who simply looks the part, that tracks with what is happening overhead. You will likely still give the packaging a glance. You are Sagittarius after all, but wit and depth are what actually hook you through this window. Take a breath here, because this next part is personal. A little later in the season, a supportive alignment between the Sun and Saturn helps you see clearly which of these new social sparks actually have long-term potential and which are simply pleasant distractions. You might enjoy the flirtation without wanting to complicate an existing friendship, and that instinct is fair. But mixed signals will complicate things anyway if you do not get honest with yourself first. Ask what you actually want before you let charm answer the question for you. Career. That same theme, honest self-assessment before impulsive action, carries directly into your work life today. The moon sits in Aries this Friday, and in Vedic tradition, a well-placed moon in a fire sign often correlates with sudden social contact from people who matter. You may find that someone significant, a mentor, a former colleague, a name from your past, reaches out today. There is a decent chance you set this in motion yourself without fully realizing it, whether through a message, a comment, or simply showing up somewhere visible. Here is the good news they did not mention in the generic version of this reading. This is a favorable window to make a strong impression, provided you actually show up prepared. If a conversation opens a door to someone influential, treat it as an invitation to present your clearest, most authentic professional self, not a performance. The same 11th house energy lighting up your friendships is also, practically speaking, your house of networks and long-term goals. Venus easing into that same zone means professional relationships built through community rather than cold outreach carry unusually good odds of success over the next several weeks. Money. Financial themes today lean quietly encouraging. A little extra money may find its way to you, though probably not through a windfall, more likely through an opportunity that opens because of a connection rather than a transaction. This is where the Saturn thread and the Venus thread meet again in an interesting way. Saturn in your personal life houses is forcing long-term thinking around commitment and resource sharing, especially if children, partnership, or major life decisions are part of your financial picture. Venus in your community house, meanwhile, is reminding you that some of your best opportunities arrive through people, not spreadsheets. Work today may also call for one bold decision rather than a slow, cautious one. If you have been sitting on a choice that requires some nerve, professionally or financially, the current climate favors decisive movement over prolonged hesitation, as long as that decision is backed by honest self-assessment rather than impulse. Health. Now here is the detail that actually matters most today, so stay with this for a moment. You have likely been more focused on managing everyone else's reactions than on taking care of your own needs, and that habit is quietly costing you. Many Sagittarius natives moving through this exact stretch of sky report the same pattern, prioritizing how others will feel about a decision over whether the decision itself is right for them. That single shift in focus, caring less about managing perception and more about honoring your own limits, may be the most useful adjustment you make this week. Physically, there is a small but specific signal worth noting. Tooth or jaw discomfort deserves earlier attention than you might normally give it, before a minor issue turns into a bigger one. On the emotional side, the ongoing Saturn cycle through your personal life sector can create a heaviness if you are avoiding a hard conversation about intimacy, parenting, or commitment. Journaling or quiet reflection time can help you separate what actually needs to be said from what you are simply anxious about saying. If any Saturn-related remedy interests you, some Vedic practitioners may suggest specific practices, such as mantras or particular gemstones for individuals whose birth charts support them, but this is never universal advice. Gemstone prescription in Vedic tradition depends entirely on a full chart analysis, so treat any general suggestion as a starting point for research, not a personal directive. Home and family. The same honest self-inventory extends naturally into your home life. If Saturn's audit has touched your role as a parent, particularly with a teenager or an adult child asserting independence, patience will serve you better than control right now. Think of it like tending an old house mid-renovation. The walls look unfinished and a little exposed, but that exposure is temporary and necessary before anything sturdier gets built. Meanwhile, the community warmth from Venus in Libra spills nicely into family gatherings and friendships close to home. If a group plan involving relatives or close friends has felt slow to organize, this is a good window for it to finally come together. Choose the invitation, cause, or shared plan that feels genuinely reciprocal, where everyone gets to contribute rather than one person carrying the whole event. Goodwill tends to grow fastest when it is not one-sided. Travel and spirit. Travel dreams may be lingering in your mind more than usual today, and that restlessness is worth honoring even if you cannot act on it immediately. Sagittarius energy is built around expansion, and the current mix of steady Saturn discipline and easy Venus connection actually supports smart, well-planned travel rather than impulsive escape. If a trip is on the horizon, this stretch favors research and realistic planning over spontaneous booking. On a deeper level, this whole season is quietly asking you to notice the difference between escaping discomfort and actually growing through it. The Saturn cycle in your personal life houses is not designed to trap you. It is designed to make sure whatever you build next, in love, in family, in your sense of self, is built on something real. That is the real shift happening underneath all of today's smaller events. Lucky signs. Your lucky numbers today are 99 and 1, both worth keeping in mind for decisions that involve timing or chance. A warm, sociable color like a soft gold or amber echoes the Venus energy currently supporting your friendships. The most compatible energy today comes through air and fire connections, people who challenge you mentally rather than simply agree with you. Earlier hours favor bold conversations, while the later part of the day suits quieter reflection, matching the shift from active moon energy to calmer evening alignments. Today's guidance. If there is one thread to carry with you after today, it is this. Stop measuring your choices by how others might react and start measuring them by whether they are honest. That single adjustment touches nearly everything currently in motion. The personal life audit asking for real intimacy instead of performance, the friendships offering genuine connection instead of surface charm, and the professional opportunity that rewards authenticity over polish. A bold decision may be needed somewhere today, financially or professionally, and the sky currently favors making it. Love feels genuinely warm right now, especially if you let depth matter more than appearances. Whatever door opened for you today, the one that felt easy or the one that felt heavy, both are asking for the same quiet honesty. Notice which one you have been avoiding and start there.